and man, I got a double super buzz. Here I was huffing airplane glue in a sandwich bag. You know, just all I could of breathing it on into my lungs and getting high. And then I'd take me a hit of that gas right after I'd hit. Man, you talking about a warped mind, I got one. And lighter fluid, you know, I'd sniff hit by the cans. I'd go around, man, with a sock in my hand like that, you know, soak it down, and I wanted all that good stuff I could get in there. And here, man, I was it. I mean, I was Superman. I mean, it seemed like I could stand in front of a coal train and stop it. And that's stuff that had me thinking, I guess, to get me killed.
Look away, look away, look away, Dixieland, 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 oh, Dixieland.
Tuning in to Dixieland, the Proletariat. We're going to talk about Southern working class history and current events through a leftist perspective. Make sure to like us on social media at Dixieland, the Proletariat, or Dixie Prol. And if you want to give your wages to a bunch of rednecks, then subscribe to our Patreon page at patreon.com/DixieProl. Got a lot of cool stuff to give you, including CDs, stickers, and a cookbook. We also have a Spotify playlist with some great artists you also check out. This podcast is brought to you by Camel Silver's Great Bubbly Vaping, the Holler Dentist, and the greatest soda ever, Mountain Dew. Shout out to our new Patreon subscribers, Cameron and Nicole. A monthly Patreon surplus goes to groups that are run by and or help marginalized people directly. As always, I'm Nelson with...
I'm Tommy.
I'm Jessica White.
What?
Jessica White.
Guess I'll be JD.
Why are you both talking at the same time?
Oh, I thought it was me first. I'm so sorry.
It is, and Tyler fucked it up.
Oh, goodness.
Great, I'm cancer.
All right. I hate you both.
I'm done. He said Jessica White. I'm done. It's over.
I took the butcher knife to her neck.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Tommy loves the wild and wonderful whites of West Virginia.
Yes, Tommy.
Okay, wait. And our guest this evening is...
Hey everybody, I'm Alana Anton. I am a self-described queerbilly. I study Southern and Southern Appalachian culture and identity at Georgia State University. I am a lecturer of sociology at North Carolina A&T and Blue Ridge Community College in Brevard, and general defender of all things that are good about being a hillbilly and setting all the things that are bad on fire.
So what you're saying is you're educated.
I mean, I got $200,000 in student loan debt, so I don't know what that means.
If you're lucky, Joe Biden will clear 10,000 of that.
Wait, you didn't go to the military and get the GI Bill to pay for your schooling?
And then
How dare you not pull yourself up by your bootstraps?
I thought the GI Bill only covered Camaros.
Oh my God!
But Tommy, going to what you were saying earlier about the Jessica White, that is probably my favorite part of that movie.
I want to make out with you so much right now, and I don't even like boys. I love that movie so much.
I took the butcher knife to her neck. And I told her, if you don't stop frying them eggs, baby, I'm tired of them sloppy, slimy eggs.
What the fuck? I still haven't seen this. I have to watch this.
You have not seen The Wild and Wonderful Whites? What is wrong with you?
No, I haven't seen it. No, I'm a bad person.
Start shaking the
Yeah,
bottle.
The Boone County Maiden Call.
Oh my God.
And then you hit my name. My name is Dubai.
Hey, speaking of which, I found my tap shoes yesterday.
Hell yeah. I do remember that part, the dude tap dancing on the table.
That is my gateway into country music. So, or folk music, I guess. Whatever Hank Williams III did in that.
He did something.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did something all right.
I liked it. I thought it was cool.
You know, there's a sign at Hank Williams' grave here in Montgomery where like Hank Williams Jr. put up like a sign in marble that said, "Please don't desecrate this grave, thank you." I'm just like, who the hell was up here desecrating Hank's grave? Then I was like, oh wait a minute, a bunch of folks are probably just leaving empty beer cans on his grave.
Oh God! If Hank Jr. only knew how many lines I did off that headstone.
Oh my God.
Given the opportunity, Hank Williams would desecrate his own grave. So I don't know what they're talking about. Did they not listen to Cocaine and Rhinestones or? Another podcast that's never coming back.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that'd be a great name for a podcast.
It is a podcast.
Oh my God.
It's just never coming back because the guy that does it is like a jerk.
Yeah, he's a bit of a pretentious asshole. But he's got two really good podcasts. That and Your Favorite Band Sucks.
I've heard of that one. Yeah.
He's what's his name's grandson?
That's David Allan Coe's son.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah,
Nelson's favorite country artist.
Loves to troll like people who are music lovers, like genuinely like try to get in conversation with him, and apparently he like gets his jollies off by not just being a pretentious asshole, but like really getting like incredibly aggressive. And it made me so sad because that podcast is incredibly well done. It's amazingly researched. Like it ticks all the boxes for me, but I don't think he's going to do any more episodes because now everybody knows he's a jerk.
Yeah, that Ernest Tubb episode was something of beauty.
Well, speaking of shitty podcasts, so let's talk about this.
Speaking of movies,
what's this movie? Hillbilly Elegy? Yeah, that we all watched today. Actually, it was a good.
Oh God!
I'm trying to warn y'all not to watch it.
We drudged our way through it.
And Ella judged.
Ella judged.
All right, let me go and put this out there. I've never read the book. I've never read the book.
You what?
But I didn't entirely hate the movie.
I mean,
it wasn't great.
Okay,
But I expected it to
you
get
never read the book. Do you also not know anything about? Do you also not know anything about JD Vance at all? Like, were you kind of going into this blind?
I knew he's a venture capitalist. Yeah, for the most part, I knew he was a venture capitalist, and that's about it.
Well, Tyler just skipped to the end of the podcast. Let me bring it back to the beginning. Let me bring it back to the beginning. And since Alana, since you're the expert on all this, can you just I guess, give us like a backstory of JD Vance before we go into you telling us about, because I read your article as well and I agreed with you exactly. Like you hit the nail on the head with the article. So like, go. Can you just like?
I basically paid to write it, but that's okay.
Hell yeah! So like, if you just give us a background on JD Vance and then like just go into the movie and tell us what's wrong with it.
So, kind of like Tyler, is that who?
Yeah.
Watched it and like you're like, I don't understand why this is bad. Okay, so Tyler, when the book first came out, I felt that way. Like I was actually very excited for the book because I'm always thrilled anytime somebody wants to write something that is not made up fiction about, you know, the quote unquote region, which I know we all hate that term, but you know, we can thank the Appalachian Regional Commission for that. And then I read it and I was like, oh, okay, well, this is, you know, like a nice family story. And then, of course, at the end, it's like wham, bootstrap, like super conservative, you know, like you said, join the military and get your GI Bill. So JD Vance is originally from Kentucky, Jackson County, which, you know, I mentioned in my article, like nobody is discrediting the hillbilly credentials of Jackson County, Kentucky. But, you know, before he's even like able to to understand I don't know how old he was when they moved to Middleton, Ohio. No, he already was in Middleton because his grandmother fled to Middleton with Mama and Papa, moved to Middleton through the sort of like the secondary Great Migration, where northern Rust Belt communities would come and recruit from coal towns, or in the case of some places in Kentucky, actually, that were like outside of the hills, would recruit from coal places or other factories in Alabama that were dying off, to move them farther north away from labor disputes, into good union paying jobs. And like, I can't remember if we were recording it or not, but yeah, in the movie, so like Mama's got her right, so they're still married, but they don't live together because, there was definitely some domestic violence there.
She set his ass on fire.
Right. I mean, he deserved it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But like, she lives in the house and he lives like 3 houses down. And, like a lot of Rust Belt towns, like over time as manufacturing left, like thanks NAFTA, those towns decline. And that's unfortunate. And that is a labor rights issue and it's a working class issue. And I am all about that. But first of all, that motherfucker is not a hillbilly. Like, he's not. He comes from a working class background and like, I'm for that. But he like immediately leaves all of those roots behind the second that he can, until it's time to make profit from doing so. I mean,
yeah, I noticed that too. Like, it just the movie is just like, he just like one little blip of him being in Appalachia for a summer, and then it's like off to Ohio, and it's like you never hear anything about that region of the country ever again. It's really just like the Rust Belt, and then him at Yale, and then back to the Rust Belt.
Yeah, and like, so there are a couple of things in the movie. I mean, like, I actually wanted to enjoy the movie, even like for a hate watch, right? I mean, like, one of the lines that got lost in the editing was that I really wanted to enjoy hate watching this movie in the same way that I love to hate watch Bring It On. Like, I wanted it to be bad and so entertaining. Like, give me Jerry Springer. And then I can write my article about what a piece of crap, I think that he is, and the way that he portrays Appalachia, but I can also enjoy watching this movie. I just thought it was it was just bad. It was just boring. I mean, like, nothing exciting happens. Like, how many times can we watch his poor mother, Bev Vance, like, deal with her addiction in this and her relationships with men in the same way over and over? Because all that did to me was blame one individual person for a lack of systemic resources to help her either with her addiction or her need to be partnered up, because without being partnered up, she can't take care of her kids or deal with her addiction. I mean, like, Bev is like the punching bag for the whole movie.
I think you mentioned this in the article, but it seemed like the running theme throughout this movie is that he just blames the women in his life for, like, and there's no mention of like the deadbeat dad who ran away. Like, there's no mention of like his father or like any other male figures really throughout the movie.
Papa is there, right? But like has really very little to do. And at least in the book, and like, this is what a glutton for punishment I am. So I've actually read the book twice and have listened to it on audiobook another 2 times in preparation to watch the movie 3 times so that I could write this article. So JD, like, give me a call. I totally love you. Like, let's be friends, because clearly I'm obsessed with your work. In the book, like, the rest of his family is there. Like, there's a lot of discussion about uncles, and at least some, like, God, I hate this line in the like his hillbilly like bona fides, like. But all we got in the movie was that like throwaway line about Hatfields and McCoys, which like I mean I actually somebody that I don't know if y'all have had her on here or not. Angela, y'all were talking about the Georgia elections when you had Mia on. But Angela Mayfield, who ran for the Georgia House 67, and that's my hometown area, she actually like does have family who is connected to that feud. And the Wild and Wonderful Whites, like that's a huge piece of that movie. But this dude is just like, like using that as a way to impress someone he wants an interview with at Yale, who I'm assuming is at a big time law firm. So I don't really know how that works, but I don't think that's how you impress people.
Yeah, that whole scene at the dinner table was just like awkward as shit. And it was so weird that like it throughout the entire. Oh yeah, the fucking spoons.
Who doesn't know outside in?
Like, I mean, I'm a goddamn moron, but I mean, I've got a general idea on which fucking spoon to use.
But it's just like through that entire ordeal, it's just
and like nobody is gonna like not give you an interview because you used the wrong damn spoon. Like, come on.
It was just weird that like he keeps talking about like I'm not one of the elites and I'm not one of the blah 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 and like all this like look at working class me, but he like wants to be them so badly. He like he wants to be that Yale graduate lawyer.
He is a Marine, right? The Marine ball. You think they don't have multiple spoons and forks?
Oh yeah, good point.
Come on, he knows which fucking spoon to use.
I don't know which spoon to use. And
he went to, this is what killed me. He like, a state school. First of all, I feel like the Buckeyes might have something to say about.
Yeah, I was like, dude,
university being referred to as just a state school. I mean, I don't have a dog in that fight because I'm an ACC girl, but. Like,
well, listen, when you're a corporatist asshole trying to appeal to poor people, I mean, you have to diminish your upbringing. Like, oh man, yeah, like life was so hard growing up, and like I didn't know what spoon to use when I was getting interviewed. Like I'm a white guy, and life is tough for me. And
it's like he's tailoring it to what he thinks the audience thinks about rich people in that setting. You know what I mean?
I didn't know which spoon to use.
That's actually where I stopped watching originally. I just had to, I cut the movie off right then. I was like, done. I can't do this. And Tommy was like, come on, we can watch it. Come over, we'll watch it. And we just made fun of it the entire time. It was like, this is just like pulling teeth. It was so bad. The dialogue is just so shitty. Like, it's just so bad.
Yeah, but goddamn, if that fucking Polish line killed me though.
Oh yeah. When grandma just like takes the Polish out.
Grandma is of course literally the only good thing about that movie, and she could have been. It could have been an Oscar performance, but like you can only do so much with bad writing.
God, yeah.
Other than the Mama, like everything to me just reminded me. It just seemed so much like a Lifetime movie with more of a budget.
It's great.
Do you think that like it? So, Alana, you're saying it's like so vastly like different from the book. Like, is that? Do you think that they did that, like Ron Howard and all them got together and it's like, let's make it different? Or do you think it was just edited for time?
I think, well, so in the interviews that I've read, where JD talks about, because he's trying to say that like he didn't, go on, we want to turn your book into a movie. Oh, go on. We don't really, no, I could never. And that the way that Ron Howard convinced him, not through $45 million, but by saying that it was going to be a movie about family.
And this is what upsets me, is that Ron Howard usually doesn't make shit like this, but this was just god awful. Like, just on a pure like movie basis alone, like you said, Nelson, like it's so bad, and it was acted horribly. Like, it was just, oh god.
One thing that I did like, hold on, I'm sorry, Tommy. I mentioned this to you, but I want to get the one thing I did like was how the young actor that played JD could actually pass for like the actor they found to play older JD. Like, they looked like they could actually be the same person, just like in the future. You know what I mean? Like, usually it's like they have the kid, then like him supposed to be as an adult, and this looks totally different. Like, not even like could pass as a cousin. But I actually could believe that, like, if you put these two side by side and was like, this is a kid from 1997 and this is him presently, I'd be like, oh yeah, it's the same person.
Yeah. The casting and the makeup and the costuming were all, I thought were all well done.
So
but I wanted to hate it, and I was just apathetic. Which I think is worth, right? Like, the opposite of not love is the opposite of love is not hate. The opposite of love is apathy, and that is what I felt.
I can see that. So like, okay, so we're at the dinner, and he's just like, "What fork do I use?" And he calls his girlfriend. His girlfriend's like, "All right, this is a little trick." And like I said, it just seems like he talks like he doesn't want. He just like, "Oh, the elites," or "I'm not an elite," blah blah blah. And then like, but he desperately wants to be that Yale graduate lawyer, whatnot. And then like afterwards, he gets the phone call. Like, spoiler alert to anyone who's made it this far. Like, we're gonna spoil the movie for you. So he gets the phone call from his. He gets a phone call from his sister, right? That his mom's overdosed, and he like doesn't want to tell his girlfriend because he's like, I don't like. He's just like, then he's like, oh, he tells her, and it's just like, it seems like,
really,
huh?
Like, how long have y'all been dating? You really don't know anything about this man?
Yes, thank you.
That sounds dangerous.
That was so weird that like she didn't know that he grew up like all that and his problems. Like, I get like trying to hide dysfunction like for a bit, like at the beginning, but like you should like by the end, by like however long this is supposed to be, like they give the impression that they've been together for a long time, that like you should know like his family
exploiting his mother's addiction for money right now.
Oh my god, yes.
So
thank you.
I don't at all believe that.
Yo,
like,
are we totally not going to mention that
entrance essay talking about how I came up from being a hillbilly? You know, that's what his entrance essay was.
Look. Are we not gonna...
was like, here's your 5 paragraphs.
Tommy, what were you saying?
Are we not going to mention the fact that he called his girlfriend his spirit guide?
Oh my god!
Some other things that got conveniently cut from that article were his white nationalistic tendencies, but my wife is not white. That goes really well with all of the research that he cites in his book. And he has one black sociologist that he cites in the book who just so happens to like line up with his views, which is William Julius Wilson.
I thought you were going to say Thomas Sewell for a second.
So, I mean, it's very like, but I have a black sociologist and I have I'm sorry, I don't know the ethnicity of his wife, but I have a non,
He says in the movie she's Indian, so
Yes, his spirit guide. He says his spirit guide.
Oh,
Oh,
I'm like, how
damn
does
it.
she not correct him?
She doesn't even know him.
Yeah, obviously she doesn't fucking know him. I was like, oh my god.
Let me take my auto harp out of its case. Give me a second.
But like right off the bat in the movie, he's throwing his mom under the bus. Like we said, there is no mention of like an absent father figure throughout the entire thing. And it's like right off the bat, just like with the dog, that was so horrifying. Like how he just went straight for the jugular and is like, my mom was bad, and like only a tiny bit of like, oh yeah, my grandma was bad too, and I needed my sister to tell me that my grandma was bad because I didn't see it because I ran away to go join the Marines and then go to Ohio State, and like it's just oh my god, it's.
I mean, he learned everything that he is from the men that we never see.
It's not their fault. They're men. They're poor white men. Don't you understand?
I do.
When he says it's like the white working class whisperer, like I just picture like Joe Biden in my head because they like try to paint Joe Biden as like the white working class whisperer. I'm just like,
I don't want behind door 1 white old rapist or behind door 2 white old rapist, but I'll take Joe Biden as the white working class whisperer over
instead of
JD Vance every day of the week.
Oh yeah, instead of JD. Yeah. Wait, so Alana, can you go deeper into like his sources and like his like skirting like white nationalism and his bullshit that he sources? Because like I saw that at the end of the article, but I'm just like, what the fuck?
So since I really am, I'm not obsessed with him. I'm obsessed with us. And since he is currently out there speaking for us, I'm unfortunately, like I said, like I wrote in the thing, is that like I don't want to take this guy seriously, but I have to, I mean, like he's got a crap load of money and a lot of political ambition. And now he's got the ear of, Hollywood in a way that I don't even think he could have imagined. And so I am a little bit obsessed with him. I try to like not read too much because he's just indicative of a larger like issue that's been going on for 100 years. But so he cites, so in the book, he cites William Julius Wilson, who's like the least problematic of the people that he cites. And Wilson is a Black sociologist who's known for his book, The Declining Significance of Race, which basically is kind of a big research project, but like a treatise basically saying that like class is more important than race, which fits in really perfect with a pretty big body of research that says that Appalachians often feel that way, that class solidarity is more important than race, regardless of the race of that person, even though racial disparities are the same or worse here as they are other places. So, I mean, like, he really chose the people, he chose the research to, like, support his, like, Heritage Foundation bullshit or whatever. Charles Murray, who's the creator of the bell curve, so noted racist. And what's that other guy's name? I can't even remember his name. That's how unimportant he is to me. But the other like notable researcher that he cites basically like held back results before he published until they could maybe not necessarily align, but he held back results.
So I just look it up. Where you said, is it Robert Putnam?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that in the article. Yeah.
So like, I'm not saying that Putnam's research is like bad or wrong. I mean, like, academia is like a Shark Tank, so probably gonna blow up my career here. But there were some ethics issues there, and his deal is that diversity is good as long as everybody assimilates. So that's not what, right? Like, so we can all like you could be a different color, but you're getting in this melting pot. Everybody's getting in the pool.
I'm gonna drown you in this melting pot.
Yes. And it's
okay if you're from somewhere else. You just like can't like ever mention that, and you have to become what we want you to be in this country. Yeah.
And I haven't read like a bunch of his research. I mean, like I had to read Wilson in school, and I've had to read Murray, not as like assigned, but you have to, if you want to know anything about like how sociology and social sciences is used to like further racism, like you have to read Murray or at least read about him. So Putnam is kind of, I guess, the least. I don't know. They're all still kind of milquetoast. Like they support what he said. Like his book is not a research project. It's a memoir, but it's a memoir in the same way that like A Million Little Pieces was a memoir. I don't know if any of you know that book.
I do not know.
James Frey wrote this book like almost 20 years ago about like his experience as an addict, and Oprah like put it on her reading list or whatever, and then it turned out that he had taken like quite a bit of license in his retelling.
Oh yes, I do remember this.
But it was a really incredible book. Well, this is a memoir, like that was a memoir, but this is not a really incredible book.
It's just shitty all the way around.
It's just shitty all the way around.
You can kind of tell, like, like just so you mentioning his sources and you mentioning like his views, like his, even in the movie, like the depiction of Appalachia in the South, etc. Like even the Rust Belt, like the complete lack of diversity. I think there was like one black character in the movie, and he was a sheriff's deputy, and like everyone else was like every bad stereotype of like hillbilly people and Rust Belt people.
His wife.
Oh yeah! Oh god, his wife. Oh my god. Yeah. Okay. But she's like in the movie for like 5 minutes.
Right.
It's like, my bad. I'm sorry. You're right there. So okay, there's two people that are not white in the entire film.
Entire movie.
Yes, his spirit guide, and who else?
The black sheriff's deputy.
Oh, I don't even remember her. Oh yeah, I do.
When he comes to, he's like trying to get JD to be like, all right, we all know what happened, but you got to say it.
Yeah, I remember that. Yep, that happened.
I want to know what else y'all thought about the movie.
Go
ahead,
Tommy.
So.
Oh no, I mean, other than on its face, it was just horrible and horribly done. It was just, it's just cringy, and I hate. I mean, like it's just another like white triumph story. Like how many of those do we have?
Right.
Like,
do we want to get on the demonizing of drug addiction just yet, or we want to save that?
I would love to do that.
Because
yeah, Tyler, I was saving that for you. You want to go into that because I know you've been open about it in other episodes.
Yeah, I feel like while some like the characteristics of I guess what you would call an addict were portrayed, like the mannerisms and like the I don't know, but I feel like a lot of her, I don't know. It's just I feel like they demonized it. They didn't treat it as it was a sickness, more as it was like her fault. And,
oh yeah,
and they didn't go into 100%. Like
they didn't go into like the causes. And like, I think by the time the movie came out, she had what, like 6 years of recovery? Why didn't they put anything about that in the movie?
So not only does she have 6 years of recovery, but do you know what she does for a living? She cleans houses.
Oh yeah, I did see it at the end.
She is a domestic worker, and her son just sold the rights to that movie for $45 million. And she cleans houses.
Yeah, and they had actual pictures of her at the end of the movie. And I wonder if that could, like, which, I mean, maybe he'll take care of her. Doesn't really seem like it how the movie ended, but
that's what I'm saying. I don't think he takes care of her at all. If he does, he's not shouting it from the rooftops, and I feel like he would.
And like, we looked him up on Wikipedia afterwards, and he, for one venture capitalist firm, he made them like $93 million. Like, this dude, obviously right out of Yale Law School, is making bank.
Yeah.
And so like, he's not helping.
Oh, well, his wife clerked for Kavanaugh.
Oh yeah, I saw that, and Roberts.
no shit.
Yeah.
No shit.
Yes. It's all a big, like, it's not, well, I mean, y'all know this. There's no Republican, Democrat. There's them and the rest of us.
Yep.
Yeah. The elite that he claims he's not a part of.
The whole her popping 2 pain pills and then roller skating around the fucking hospital, like,
Yeah.
that's a little
I
ridiculous.
thought that was hilarious.
Like,
First of all, that's totally something I would do.
like me personally, whenever I've dabbled in like opiates and shit like that, never have I once thought about roller skating. Like, it would be more understandable to me if maybe she just like nodded out in front of a patient.
Come on now. Never once thought about roller skating.
Never once have I taken a pain pill and hopped on some quads and ran into someone in a coma in their hospital bed. Wish I did, but
I saw an episode of ER where I'm pretty sure they did that. She was living
I thought that was
proof, man.
JD gets addicted to OxyContin.
The thing about Bev's story, and I'm gonna be unfunny for a minute. So I'm sober, and I went to inpatient treatment several years ago, and she probably won't hear this podcast, but I'll try to leave out any too much identifying information. But basically, Bev's story, like how she becomes addicted. And how it gets really bad and the losing of her license. Like, I literally know somebody that is what happened to them. Got it. And now I don't know what happened like for Bev to start, but like in nursing and healthcare, getting job related injuries is very common. And during that time, right, they're telling everybody that, for 30 years, they told us that these painkillers that were for, really bad back injuries and cancer patients, like, it's okay. You're not going to get addicted, like, you can maintain. And then the next thing you know, like, healthcare professionals who in every other instance of their lives are good, ethical people are now stealing from their job because they've developed this addiction that they were told they would not get. And I literally know someone that happened to. And there's no amount of in and out of rehab that's going to fix systemic poverty and no insurance and PTSD from growing up in a household where your mother set fire to your father, and the string of bad relationships that she was in, like the demonization of addiction in that movie, like the contempt with which he treats his mother. If there was any feeling that this movie made me have, that was enraging.
Yeah. That's definitely the worst part of like is how like everything is dumped on her, and like everything is dumped on the women in his life, and it's never, like I've said before, it's never like never like the father figure who obviously was there and then like ran away just because he just doesn't want to be responsible, but like it's like it's the woman's fault, and like also going back to like basically what you just said about the opioid crisis is like they go over it like a second in like a glance. Like she looks at the pain pills, obviously she takes them off camera, and then she's roller skating through the hospital. But like there's no backstory to like why there's an opioid crisis in the Rust Belt and Appalachia in the South. Like there's no, like it's just like, oh, she just saw 2 pain pills and she's just gonna take them because she's crazy. It's just like it's really just watering down a horrible thing and like an issue that is of the utmost importance in this country, that like, and how the pharmaceutical companies and doctors like just these pill mills just like pump this shit into people, and like you said, told them that it'll be okay, and they're just glancing over that, just be like, oh nope, she took 2 pain pills while she was giving this lady dialysis and then like went loopy, and it's just what the fuck.
And like I have struggled with substance use. Alcohol's kind of my thing. But as I like to tell my students, I had a lot of fun in my 20s. Like I gave up those things. Wait, like booze is so much harder to give up. Opiates have never been something that have been on really my radar, so I can't say for that. But alcohol to me is just like I could relate. I guess my drinking, I could relate to her a lot more than like the stuff I did in my 20s. And I thought that the roller skating scene was funny, but I also like I've never like taken a pill and been like, let's do something like that. That's some drunk redneck shit. Like, let's set a couch on fire, tie it to the top of a pickup, and put chains on the truck and see how far across the ice we can get.
Like a hold my beer moment.
Yes. Hold
There
my
was
What really got me.
there was one scene that kind of stuck out. Go ahead, Tyler.
It's the scene
Speak,
towards
Tyler.
the end of the film
Tyler.
where she's in the boat. Can you hear me? Are we here? Am I live?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're live.
Okay.
No, he just muted himself.
End of the film
There we go.
when they were in the hotel, when they were in the hotel room, and he walks in on his mother shooting up in her foot, which was just for me that was really hard to watch.
Me
and
too.
then for him just to leave her there, my sister's, she'll be here in a little bit, for a job interview was just disgusting. Like you couldn't wait another fucking 30 minutes to an hour for your sister to get there. It's like if at that point in addiction,
Are you clipping your toenails?
at that point it's already in her head.
Tommy,
Like
what is that clicking noise?
Oh, that's not me.
Sounded like someone's clipping their toenails while Tyler's talking.
I think that's Tyler.
About something
me
really
fidgeting with a pocket
serious.
knife.
Oh my
That's me
god,
fidgeting.
Tyler. God damn it.
Sorry.
That's
Sorry.
way better than clipping your toenails.
That scene got me really worked up. That was what really.
No, I feel that. I feel that.
Yeah.
Because like there's no way in hell if that really if that's how that really played out and she was really a drug addict, as soon as he walked out that door,
she was good. She was getting more drugs.
She
Like
should
that's just
know.
like, and to
Come
trade
on
out
now.
like your mother's safety for a job interview that you may or may not get, which he said that he may or may not get earlier in the film. Like it just doesn't. I mean, it's,
Also,
I don't
like
know, go ahead.
as a Yaley, like this isn't undergrad. Yeah, I mean, this is Yale Law. One interview is not. He was going to be fine either way, and I don't know if they made that like. I don't know if it was written in the memoir that way to like, create tension and a sense of urgency, and then played it out in the movie that way. But like you said, if that is what actually happened, again, the contempt that this man feels for his mother is, as a human being, is abhorrent. The contempt that he feels for his mother as a self-professed hillbilly, which is one of the most matriarchal cultures, that there are, is, to me, a tell. You ain't no hillbilly.
It's almost like I
don't care how bad it is. Like, that's your mama.
Yeah. It's like the Menendez brothers love their mother more than this guy.
Yeah, I mean, like, that scene got me to, both as someone who is in recovery, as someone who has loved addicts as, partners or family members, and as someone who has, the women in my family run my family. I don't know what my mother would have to do for me to treat her that way, but we ain't found it yet. And she used to beat us with paint stir paddles from the Home Depot when we were kids. So,
and like the really fucked up thing about it is it's
that was supposed to be funny, laughed at.
but going back to, we were talking about like the blip at the end of the movie where they have the little type out stuff you're about to read, is that like he's a multi-millionaire now and his mother is cleaning houses. Like the one thing you always hear people like, what are you gonna do when you get rich? He's like, I'm gonna buy my mom a house. I'm gonna buy my mom a car. And he didn't even do that. Like, it's just like he got rich and then just said, fuck you. Like, I could understand if he was like, all right, I'm gonna let my mom be with my sister right now. And like, I know things aren't good, but like, I'm gonna become a millionaire, good big time lawyer, and then I'm gonna get her like everything she ever wanted, and she's never gonna be in want ever again. Like, she's just gonna be great. Not even just gonna be complacent. Like, she's gonna be like live the high life. Like, she's gonna finally be rich. You know what I mean? But he didn't do that.
Make sure she's got round the clock care. That anytime she needs to go back into treatment, that she'll have that available to her, because, hey, by the way, addiction isn't just a disease. Addiction is a disease in the same way that diabetes is a disease. The problem is that we treat relapse as if it's a moral failing instead of a lapse in self-care and mediating of our health needs.
That's a finger snap moment. Yeah.
If you go into a diabetic related seizure, or we just watched Steel Magnolias yesterday, and I know, like, Drink Your Juice, Shelby, like it's not the greatest portrayal of a over insulated moment, but like, nobody is watching Steel Magnolias and going, oh my God, that's Shelby. She needs to like deal with her diabetes. Like, of course his mother is going to need to go in and out of rehab because it's a disease, and we're not always in the best place to deal with that. Like, it's hard. I mean,
in my opinion,
I went
despite
to
what the law says, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I'm listening. You go.
Despite what the law says, drug addiction is not a crime. It is definitely
Correct.
a disease that is both physical and mental. And
Correct.
I don't know, just from this movie and like how they deal with drug addiction, it's just apparent this dude just hates his mom, and he still to this day blames his mom for everything.
He's like a multimillionaire, but fuck you, mom, because I'm sure she didn't have anything to do with how you turned out. He thinks he is who he is despite her.
Yeah,
not because of her. He got where he thinks he is where he is despite being working class. Like his bootstrap mentality is contrived. Like it works for him because it helps him make more money. It's like the man is going to run for something soon.
Yeah, I saw that on Wikipedia. He wanted to run in like 2018. He's going to probably run for something later on.
Yeah, like, probably 2022. I mean, we'll see. I mean, he tweeted out about being a white nationalist. Like that was earlier this year.
Oh Lord.
I'm telling you,
he doesn't even mention the fact that like,
are like best friends on Twitter.
Oh God. Ben Shapiro would love him, but no, like he doesn't mention anything about the fact that he gets the GI Bill. He doesn't mention anything about the fact that paid for his undergrad.
That would be white affirmative action, and that would fly in the face of everything that he talks about.
He didn't have to pay for undergrad, and then he gets free healthcare through the VA. Like obviously, he doesn't have any lasting.
Law school has some of the best need-based financial aid in the country.
Yeah.
If they want you, they will find a way for you to come because they're counting on that. He's a venture capitalist now. Where do you think he's going to write a check? He's going to write a check to the Yale Law Endowment. They don't care if you can't pay for it up front. You're going to pay for it on the back end. That dude did not pay for school. I
refuse to believe that. But, yeah.
And then he obviously got out of the military scot-free. Like he doesn't seem like he have any lasting, like horrifying PTSD from his experience. He's not injured. He's perfectly healthy, it seems like. And it's just like he just like, I picked myself up my bootstraps. Like, dude, you had government assistance the entire time, and now you've come out the other end a shitty Republican who like thinks that like individualism is
that I just realized. Like, he's not from Kentucky. He's got family from Kentucky. He's from Ohio, and he made his fortune writing about very shittily about Appalachia and Kentucky. He's a fucking carpetbagger.
Yes.
That's all he is. He's a fucking carpetbagger.
Correct. Yeah.
I just don't understand how someone with 3 houses could be considered poor.
Like industrial Rust Belt communities, like solidarity with the working class everywhere, with all people, all workers everywhere. But you ain't a hillbilly, friend.
I think you guys are missing the moral of the story.
All right, Tommy, tell us why we're wrong. Tell us. Preach.
Listen. This guy can't help his family out. He can't make his mom get in a better house. He can't do that because if he does, then that's socialism, and he can't be a part of that. You have to be conservative to the bone until you die. And if you give money to anybody, then you're a no good radical leftist. You can't be doing that.
He was giving his mom a handout.
If I send my mom to rehab, the country will turn into Venezuela.
All right, so where can I send my Patreon to make that happen?
Oh, yeah. We are slowly turning the country into Venezuela.
I'm waiting for them to invade and liberate us.
God, thank you. Please, please.
We already had our Bolsonaro, so I mean.
I know, right? It was okay. Hold on, wait, real quick. There's one scene in particular that, like, I think, like, since we've been recording, really came to mind. It's the scene where he's dropping his mom off at that guy's apartment or whatever, and he's throwing the mom's stuff out of the window and everything, right? And be like, they have like they have this like back and forth, and he like how they filmed it. It seems like they're trying to get him to like revert back to like this horrible stereotype of what like a hillbilly is, and then he like runs upstairs and like wants to just beat the shit out of this guy, and like he's banging down the door, and it just plays in this notion that like he's come back to this place, and now he's like somehow, I don't fucking know, turning into this monster because of just a location change, where it's just like I don't know. It just thinking about it, it's just weird. It's just like they tried to
knock the guy out. Like, you call my mama a bitch, we gonna square up.
But like, he just wanted him to play in the fact that like, look at me, I'm a hillbilly. Like, he said something bad about my mama, so now I'm gonna go kill him. It's just like, I don't know, the way they like framed it was just like,
you know, he ain't a hillbilly because he didn't.
if he was a hillbilly, he would have busted down that door and stabbed that guy, and then that would have been the end of the movie.
I mean, he would have, you know, rocked his shit a little bit, but I just think it's funny because, like, at the beginning of the movie, when it's like they're at the, you know, the swimming hole and whatever, and he's like, you know, Hill justice and blah 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 blah, and like the whole family's like patting him on the back because you don't start it but you finish it, and I'm like, the dude is literally throwing your mother's stuff out the window and calling her like horrible names, and this is when you choose to hold back. Like, make it make sense.
It's because he hates his mom, obviously.
He does. It is because
yeah.
Mom, you're right. It is because he hates his mom.
To me, it was just like a weird contrast to like him like being at the like elitist thing and wanting to be like this Yale so and so uppity person, and like he goes back home and it's just like, look at me. It's like he's I don't know. It's just like it's just he's like a chameleon. He's like
uppity, and that is hilarious.
It's like he's just like a chameleon. He's like, look at me, I can be, you know, elitist Yale lawyer guy, and then, look, I'm back in Ohio. I'm me. I don't know. It was just weird. That whole like, what the fuck's going on here?
He's just regular white guy who failed up. He's just a regular mediocre white dude.
I think Tommy said that while we were watching this.
Yeah, like
failing up.
I mean, like, you can do no wrong. Literally, like this. Yes, he had a terrible childhood, and I give it to him. Yes, absolutely. But do you go and, you know, try to rectify these things? Do you go and use your power to make things better for people who are in your situation? No. So I really don't feel sorry for the guy. I mean, he's a leech, and he just sucks.
And that's the end of Dixie Pro. Thank you to our sponsors.
Oh man, fuck this guy. Like, fuck this Vance dude. Like, he really, like, Tommy and I were talking about this, like, for all like the problems you could like talk about, like Killer Mike and T.I. and like this, like and just like in like the right, like conservatives like to shit on all like on rappers in the black community and things like that. But like they come back and they like try to invest in their communities, whereas like Vance has more money than
God,
than God, and he's like hasn't even helped his mom.
First
Like,
of all,
it's crazy.
The only millionaire we're saving anyway, and people like I got issues with T.I., but that has nothing to do with any.
Oh, me too.
He has some weird social
but like
ideas.
That's again like a thing about like leaving out huge swaths of this larger community, and it's why black and brown and queer people don't say or feel an identity as a hillbilly or a redneck or whatever. And it's not because those words are like slurs or whatever. It's because we 100% refuse to, like, Killer Mike comes back and like puts money back into his community. Dude, his community is part of our community. I mean, Lynch, Kentucky is an almost entirely black, which is, I mean, I know that the name of the town is like fucked up, but I mean it is. It's almost 100. It's like 98% black, Lynch, Kentucky.
And 2% JD Vance.
Oh my god. I felt just like I told Tommy if we were watching this in a movie theater, like, you know, my guys remember movie theaters, like I'd be throwing shit at the screen. It's just like, God, this is horrible.
Tomatoes.
It's like every bad stereotype like wrapped into one, and it's like blames his mom on everything, and just like, God damn it, it's bad.
And not even in a good way. Like, I know we're making fun of the Wild and Wonderful Whites, but like those motherfuckers are entertaining.
Yeah, and it's not. I didn't feel like it was exploitive. Like that's them. Like that's literally them.
That is literally them, and like I don't, you know, in a lot of ways I think that movie probably is exploitive. In the same way that I think that anytime media tries to show how the other half lives is like always going to be exploitative, but that is how they live. Like they're getting high at grandmama's birthday party, or like, so when we were doing the edits for the article, they're like, you know, can you give us an example of a movie that like does this and shows this culture in a better way? And I was like, I mean, Coal Miner's Daughter is literally the same movie about someone who came from absolutely nothing, became a humongous star, and picked up her culture and moved it 3,000 miles away and didn't change not one thing about herself. So if it's good enough for Loretta Lynn, then JD Vance needs to get it together.
I mean, shit. Same thing with Walk the Line. Because I mean, he came from fucked up parental figure. And, like, there's so many better movies that show this region than this. But if you just want to watch
they could just come talk to some.
Like, if you just want to watch something like this for poverty porn, just
porn, I see 100 other movies that are better at that too.
Yeah, go watch Wild Wonderful World of the Whites. I mean, it's at least they like. I wouldn't call that exploitive. Yeah, they're happy. That's how shit really is for some people there.
Yeah, when I say it's like, see, it's not them like exploiting themselves. It's not like, you know. I mean, of course, yeah, you know, Hollywood and producers are going to be like, oh yeah, let's get this, but it's not them doing it to themselves. Right. It's like, you know, this guy is just making a mockery of where he came from.
Yeah, like the whites are in on the joke. They're not the butt of the joke.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. He's like wants to be this white working class whisperer, but he really just like shit on everything. He just like shit on where he came from and like what he wants to portray himself as.
He's a fucking class traitor.
Yeah, exactly.
Carpetbagger. And those are like, you put them two together.
He's a damn Yankee.
Well, I mean,
oh my god. Is there anything else that you want to talk about on the podcast that you weren't able to put into the article because it was edited out or et cetera? I remember you telling us that there was a lot of stuff that you wanted to mention.
We talked about the stuff about. I really wanted y'all. We talked about. I really wanted to talk about how like the, you know, going to a state school. I'm like, hey, you went to the Ohio State University and shut the fuck up. And you brought up the white nationalism thing. I think that is gonna, and that's like kind of separate from the movie. I mean, the movie and the book are like springboards for other things that are coming. I just think that, I mean, the two most recent tweets of his that he wrote that really just like gave me pause were him just outright saying I'm a nationalist, and then a follow-up tweet about the white birth rate. So like there's a lot more going on in there. He's just like
Wait. Are
letting
you
it out
serious?
ill. But there's like some serious white national, anti-Semitic, anti-black. I just think that he's piecing it out a little at a time as people learn him and are more comfortable with him since the movie came out.
So wait, he is complaining about the white birth rate.
Yeah.
That makes Tom, is that what you were getting at? It makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, I was very. Oh God. Okay. You don't understand the plight of the white man.
I'm telling you.
God, there's just we're dying out here. Dying.
We are. For the cause. For the cause.
Tommy, I think you could have portrayed like white hillbilly culture better than JD Vance could have.
Oh man, it's so sad.
Can we do a shot
have a first class
remake with Tommy playing every character?
Tommy, what did you say when we were watching? It was like a.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I definitely said like this is like a Tyler Perry movie for Appalachia.
Hey, funny story. So Tyler Perry where he used to live. This is gonna sound hillbilly as fuck. So I'm estranged from one portion of my family, and that portion of my family lives in Vinings, which if you're familiar with Atlanta, you know exactly where that is. And when the wintertime, you can see Tyler Perry's old house from their porch. But he moved and doesn't live there anymore. I think he moved to like Fayetteville to be closer to like, or what? His studio's at old Fort Mac now, so I guess he moved there.
I haven't seen a Tyler Perry movie in so long, but when Tommy said that, it was like I was like, oh my god, it's perfect.
I don't think I've ever seen one all the way through.
Yeah, I don't.
I can't stand like transphobic, misogynoir, and a bad wig all at the same time. Like,
yeah, it's yeah.
It's just now I just have like Medea in my head, and it's like God. It was like Medea goes to Appalachia.
Oh my God, Medea goes
and like redoes this movie, and it's actually better.
Look, Medea goes to Dollywood.
Medea
Let's make it
and
happen.
Meemaw. Oh, that'd be a great duo.
The feel-good story of 2021. Meemaw Medea.
With Glenn Close's Meemaw, I would watch this shit out of that.
She did great. I think she was the only like character I was like, hell yeah, Meemaw, this is good. Like everything else is like, holy shit.
Yeah. I mean, really, she was
kind of like Glenn Close doing a Clint Eastwood impersonation.
There's good Terminators and bad Terminators, and I'm like, there's the right boot you can lick or the left boot you can lick.
When she set her husband on fire, I was like, good Lord. I was like, holy shit. I was like, nah, she's not gonna say that. Oh my God, she just set him on fire.
I mean,
oh Lord. I don't know. I want to like, there's more to talk about with the movie. It's just so, it's bad.
But at the same time, it's like, it's now been out for like exactly a month. And, I was like getting really antsy about like writing it. And when my article came out, like I'm kind of new to like freelancing. So like I had a lot of anxiety about being relevant or whatever. But now I'm like so fucking sick of it because it's taking away those conversations about like, not only is the opioid crisis like been going on for 30 years. Oh, and by the way, it's actually worse because of COVID. And it's not just worse. It's not just worse because of COVID, but it's also hitting queer, Black, Indigenous, and other people of color populations in the hills worse. And like nobody's talking about that because fucking JD Vance made a movie about Ohio.
And having 3 houses, like
Having 3 houses.
3 houses: his papa's house, Meemaw's house, and his mom's house. I'm just like, hold on, time out.
I never could like parse like whether they owned those homes, but in the movie they look like mill houses, which since the mill like it that would have been pretty common, because it was a union job that you would have been able to either rent or lease like very inexpensively, or been able to purchase, because they wanted workers to live close to mills and factories. I mean, where I live in Anderson, South Carolina. By the way, one of the most violent cities in the U.S., regardless of size. Crazy. There are a lot of like empty mills. So there are a lot of mill houses here, and you can like tell even the mill that has like been torn down, the little community is like still there. And, you know, they're all kind of dilapidated, but those same people have lived there forever. So I feel like they owned at least one of those homes.
I feel like the grandparents owned their houses. I feel like they had been there that long that like they definitely did.
People didn't. Yeah, you scream it out, girl.
Yeah, I think that the grandparents definitely owned theirs, and I think the mom probably did as well. Or I mean, I got the feeling that they owned all 3 for sure, but they didn't really. What?
What about the gentrification of fried bologna in this movie? Like, you're gonna have like bougie, like New York eatery serving fried bologna sandwiches.
Holy shit! You're right.
There already are.
Come on down to JD Vance's fried bologna and moonshine house in Manhattan.
You can buy bacon grease for $6 for 6 ounces in a mason jar, like, you know, ethically sourced from
what?
Asheville or something.
Good Lord.
I'm like, bitch, just buy some fat back from the grocery store and put it on the stove. What's wrong with you? Then your house smells like bacon. And you have bacon fat. Like, dab a little behind your ears. Go out and have it. Well, wear your mask, but yeah, we went to in the before times, we went to Beaufort, South Carolina. So it's like in between Savannah and Hilton Head. And there was this like little coffee shop, and it was a totally like little bougie coffee shop, but it was also like out in the sticks, as far as like the sticks that are by the ocean. And they absolutely had like one of those little mini 6-ounce canning jars of bacon grease, and it was like $12 or something. And I was like, I have twice that just next to my stove right now. So I am anti-gentrification of fried bologna sandwiches or red hots. Let's talk about hillbilly food.
You know that some like JD Vance wants to open up like a restaurant where they just like, this is what I think hillbilly cuisine is, and now all you folks can try hillbilly cuisine. And look, Mountain Dew. It's just like, oh god damn it.
Mountain Dew is gross.
What?
I don't like. I don't drink soda. So.
Oh man, that Baja Blast cannot go wrong.
That's not Mountain Dew. That's a totally different drink.
True. Mountain Dew like gives me heartburn. It's like but like damn, it tastes good.
No.
Oh man. All right, y'all. Did anyone have any final thoughts on this movie? If we're gonna, I give it 2 thumbs down. I think it was god awful.
I give it 2 spits in the back of spittoon.
There wasn't enough.
I'll give it for
there wasn't enough drywall punching.
I'll give it a. Yeah, he should have punched drywall. I'll give it for Glenn Close alone a 5 out of 10. It was bad.
Glenn Close was the only
I've seen worse, but it was bad.
Okay, you've seen worse. Name them, please.
Garden State. Garden State's definitely a worse movie than that.
Aw, that's hilarious. I definitely thought that movie was amazing when I was like the age that I was when that movie came out.
It gave birth to the whole manic pixie dream girl thing, and that just
right. And I was exactly that age, so I was her. She was me.
Tommy, what do you think? Was enough drywall punching?
Oh yeah, well, you're saying there's no Marine that
there's no battlefield Marine that was that in touch with his emotions, like explain to his girlfriend like his entire like problems, like a clear, coherent thing at the end. I was like, this dude would be punching drywall and chugging monsters. Like, there is no way that scene happened where he's like apologizing and driving home, and I'm just like, that did not happen. That did not happen.
Also,
this man did not apologize.
Cards. Like, he's like, try $1,000 on this card and $1,500 on this one to like get his mom a bed, and I'm like, okay.
It's like, how many cards do you have, dude?
Right. Hey, what is the limit on these?
And then he was like kind of like nonchalant about like, I don't know if they like went into it, but she's like, I'm not gonna go. So like, he didn't even care that he just dropped all that money. Like, did he get a refund? Like, I don't know. It was like, I was like, dude, it's just like totally nonchalant that he just dropped like $2,500.
Also,
and, like,
that's not how it works anyway. Like, there's a whole intake process. Like, you don't like pay up front and then let somebody walk out the door. They take you in and get you settled, and then the people who are bringing you, that's just not how intake works. And I know that happened like, like a decade ago, but that's not how intake worked then either. Like, you don't just drop $5,000 and then like the patient just like walks off the premises.
Yeah, I kind of got the feeling that was a lot of liberties taken with that scene.
Yeah, this is. I'm in agreement that this is just like a terrible portrayal of addiction. And I mean, like, hillbilly like stereotypes aside, it just furthers a national contempt, societal contempt for people struggling with addiction, and that's a real shame.
Definitely. Tommy, what were you gonna say?
Oh, no, I mean, I was just talking about that the drywall comment that you made. But yeah, there's not enough Kyle action in it. Like, when you hear Marine, like, I want to hear.
It's just like I have Marine friends that don't do that shit. But I'm just like, the fact that like, what really pissed me off about everything is that he literally got out of everything scot-free, and then had so much assistance and got so far, and it's just like, I hate my mom and I'm not gonna help my mom and I did it all myself. And like, yay, look at me. Like, if I can do it, everyone else can. We're like, he had so much assistance along the way and like did not recognize any of that and just gives his bullshit and narrative like bootstrapping just shit. And it's just so shitty.
He served in it. Look, I had to look it up because it was bothering me. He served in Iraq as a public affairs.
Oh, get the fuck out of here. No way. Oh,
Not.
God. Wow.
Does that not explain everything? We could
Oh, no. I bet he's that jackass that's like, I was a Marine and like didn't do shit. He just like sat behind a desk. Like, anyway, that's a whole different discussion for another time. I know that's like a.
I mean, like,
hot topic,
don't join the imperialist, like, American.
Yeah, don't join the military, please. God, we've had people on here before that have been in the military, and they'd say like, please don't join the fucking military. Like, find some other way. Do not join the military. But oh my God, I bet he's at like
You're
that
so
fucking
mad
dickhead.
about like that. You're very upset about that.
I bet this dickhead is like, look at me, I'm the big tough guy. Like, fuck you, dude. Like, oh my God, it's another rant
Public
for another
affairs
time.
activities. He did a TED talk.
What a jackass! Oh my God, yeah, I saw.
Yeah, we watched that. Right?
Yeah. Oh my God.
I didn't watch it. I can't stand to hear him talk.
Yeah, we immediately cut it off.
And then Tommy showed me like who Hassan Piker is, and I was like, all right, that's cool. Like, just shit on Robert E. Lee for like 30 minutes. I was like, hell yeah, this is cool.
Yeah, let's do that.
But like, I have a whole episode planned for that. But like, my God, like what?
I want to come back and shit on historic figures because I have a whole like thing about how we talk about the Civil War sociologically, especially since I teach mostly like white students. Like, obviously NC like A&T is a HBCU, and I am a grateful guest at that institution. But all of my, and I mean two-way person, all of my students at Blue Ridge are white, and when I come in and I'm like, so the North was not against slavery, they look at me as if I have told them that the Earth is spinning off of its axis and will fall into a black hole immediately.
I have like a whole episode planned about the myth of the lost cause and how like the Confederacy is just the biggest crock of shit, and how Lee was a horrible general, and like how the South just completely just is. The war is about slavery, and Lee was horrible, and the lost cause is bullshit.
They're all horrible. Lincoln was horrible. Grant was actually.
No, they're disgusting. Like Sheridan's the one who's like, the only good Indian's a dead Indian. It's like, oh my God, it's just like, we talked about this. Like Kaiser talked about this on the other episodes. Like all these Union generals like went and turned their guns on the plains like right after the war.
The war was about keeping a union together and whether or not it was okay to expand slavery. Like Lincoln had no, like Maryland was part of the Union and was a slave state. Like anyway. So speaking,
we're about to like go off on a huge tangent right now.
Yeah. But that ties it perfectly to, you said I could like send you a song, and so I'm gonna do John Brown's Body.
Oh hell yeah! Hell yeah! Send that. We'll put it. We'll definitely put it in if you want to get a good recording.
You mean
of that
radical abolitionist John Brown?
Oh my God! The fucking PragerU video was like, General Lee stopped radical abolitionist John Brown.
Like, tell me more. Don't threaten me with a good time.
You know that Lee's horse Traveler is like buried right by him at where the fuck he's buried. I'm like, dude, that dude fucked that horse. Like Lee fucked Traveler. Like he's like, I love you, Traveler.
Without a fucking doubt.
Robert E. Lee fucked that horse. Oh my God. All right, y'all. So the movie sucks. Don't go see it. Don't give JD Vance any of your money. Any like,
hit me up. I'll just send you the. I'll make sure that you can read it and not have to pay for it.
Yeah, I'll definitely send me anything that you want to have tagged in the show notes. I have your article. I'm definitely going to do that. But any other resources you want tagged in the show notes, We could
In my
definitely post that.
dissertation bibliography, it's like 10 pages long.
Hell yeah. All right, y'all. I don't have anything else to talk about this movie besides it just gonna just repeat that it sucks. Does anyone else have any final thoughts before we log off?
It sucks, and JD Vance is a white supremacist. The end.
Tyler?
Let's all just forget about it. Just let it fade off.
Look, everybody just needs to have some buttermilk and some saltines and take a nap. And when you wake up, it's going to be fine.
Hell
Like,
yeah.
if you want to watch this, just go watch Mandalorian. God, that shit was good. That's sweet. Literally made me cry.
I was just wondering when Dan Crenshaw was going to lose his other eye.
Dan Crenshaw's gonna fight Antifa along with JD Vance in the hills of Appalachia. Oh my God! All right, y'all. Don't log off until I hit stop record. But I'm gonna read the outro and I'm gonna call it a night, y'all. So at Dixieland, the proletariat, we believe the South will rise again, but this time for the right reasons. Those being worker-owned means of production, decolonization, and self-determination for all oppressed peoples. Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe to us on social media at Dixie Prole. We are coming to you from the birthplace of the civil rights movement, Montgomery, Alabama. We'd also like to recognize that we're recording on occupied land that rightfully belongs to the Muskogee Nation. Alana, thank you so much for coming on. A lot of people are excited about this one. I know other podcasts have done it, but we definitely wanted to put our own spin on this. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Hell yeah. We got to have you back on for another topic.
I
Definitely.
love that. This is fun.
For sure. Tyler, you want to send us off in style?
Yes, sir. Well, good Lord willing and the creek don't rise. We'll see y'all next time.
Hell yeah.
Old John Brown's body lies mouldering in the grave, while weep the sons of bondage whom he ventured all to save. But though he lost his life while struggling for the slave, his soul is marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. His soul is marching on. John